To the Academy, I would like to report of my particular confinement in this bizarre world and the so-called status of an architecture student. However, let me begin by telling you how my identity has been transformed several times during my lifetime. The first transformation of my being began after I was captured and adopted by a human family. Being as young as I was very open to the idea of being adopted and wanted to fit in with my new family. Having lived with them for several years, I became very much human and learned to do just as they did. Once I was of an appropriate age, I enrolled into a community college because they could not reject me. There, I was able to become as educated and cultured as many of the people around me. I learned French and Spanish and even took music lessons. However, this knowledge was not enough for me. I wanted to challenge myself further, and so I decided to go to university. At the institution that I went to, I was transformed once again. My identity stopped being that which it had been for the past couple of years, because to become an architecture student, I needed to go through a complete transformation, and I now find myself a full captive of the school and the program. I did not want to be transformed, nor to find myself at all hours of the day thinking and living with architecture and school in mind, but I had to do it. To be able to stay within the school and program and not to give up, I had to adopt it fully and surrender myself to the program completely. To become this person who is always on task and able to perform to the best of my ability, I had to give up spending time with my friends and family. Skipping meals and pulling all-nighters became something that I got used to and didn't think of as something unusual. As the months go by, I find myself even more devoted to the school and the program, and I find myself losing common things that I once shared with the people I loved. I am only befriending those who are in architecture and withdrawing from those who aren't interested in architecture or who do not understand it. As I get better at understanding the material I am learning at lectures, and find my work to be progressing in studio, I see myself transformed from this once timid and shy being into a cocky, self-confident future architect. I critique and help others only to get pleasure from their achievements, and not to help them, but to help myself and make myself feel more important and more human. Someone once said that architects have the biggest egos because they make the biggest things in the world. But who would have thought that this ego takeover would happen so suddenly and without warning? So now I question myself, was I ready to come into this intense world of architecture and surrender myself to it so wholly, or should I have thought more about it? Was I ready to have my identity transformed so radically once again, that I find it hard to remember what I was like before? Nonetheless, I'm glad all this happened while I was still young, so that soon I won't be able to recall what took over me and transformed my life so completely.